Today, the memorial ceremony in honour of the fallen Major Claudian Tanoshii was held, where relatives, friends and high state officials all paid their tributes to the honourable man who died in the line of duty. Minister Belinda Baluku has decided to grant another infrastructure concession despite strong criticisms from international financial institutions, which will see a toll implemented for travel on the Tirana Highway. On May 22, students will resume their protest actions as, according to the students, their requests of the Ministry of Education have not been completed. It's 6 o'clock on Thursday, the 16th of May 2019. Good evening and thank you for tuning in to rtvора's English edition. My name is Alexandra, bringing you the only daily update of the local Albanian news translated into English. Albanian state officials attended the memorial ceremony held today in honour of the fallen Major Claudian Tanoshii, who passed away during a NATO mission in Latvia. Relatives, friends and high state officials all paid their tributes to the Major that died in the line of duty. Following the ceremony, his body was sent to the Cemetery of the Martyrs, where he will rest under the moniker Mother Albania. They expressed their deepest condolences and delivered emotional speeches over the loss of the recently proclaimed Albanian martyr. Prime Minister Edi Rama said during his speech that Major Tanoshii gave his life to be on the right side of history. He also issued a message to Tanoshii's 3 children in which he said that there is nothing more precious than being remembered for the good deed of their father. Meanwhile, Chief of General Staff Brigadier General Bardul Kolchaku said that his work and professionalism will be remembered by each and every soldier and colleague of Tanoshii. In a trembling voice, Kolchaku said that the armed forces have lost a tireless commander. Meanwhile, the Minister of Defence broke into tears while delivering her heartfelt speech during the homage. The MPs who did not withdraw from their mandates and those who received the mandates made available after the opposition left fear that a Rama Basha deal on the eve of local elections could take them out of the game. MPs Rudina Haidari and Ralph Giorni, speaking in Parliament, outright asked the majority if there was any secret pact between the Socialist Party and the Democratic Party. The chair of the SP parliamentary group, Talon Bala, tried to calm down the 2 new opposition MPs by guaranteeing that there will be no agreement at the expense of the Constitution. Meanwhile, from the Assembly Hall, Bala noted that on May 29 at 12:30 p.m, the decision regarding EU negotiations will be published. He went on to assure that the European Commission will have good news for Albania. In the autumn, the Tirana Highway's privatisation tender will be activated and all citizens who choose to travel along it will be forced to pay a toll. Minister Belinda Baluku has decided to grant another infrastructure concession regardless of all the criticisms from international financial institutions. This concession amounted to 49 billion lek, and currently an Indian company has expressed the biggest interest. The implementation of a toll for the Tirana Highway is viewed with concern, especially by drivers, because there is no alternative way to pass, as the Indrochi Road is in a catastrophic condition. The granting of this concession has also been opposed by former DP MP Owerid Bulukbashi. Through a status via Facebook, he says that the gang's master's concessionaires will take their banditry to the Tirana Highway, where every citizen of Durrës, Lushnja, Kavaya and more will be forced to pay this additional tax. This concession is expected to exacerbate declining conditions for businesses that are located along the highway, businesses which carry about 60% of the activity in Albania. About 50,000 vehicles per day travel along the Tirana Highway, and if this number remains steady over the next 30 years, the company's income derived from the road would be €1.1 billion, a figure which is 3 times the initial investment. The Mayor of Shkodra, Zoltana Ademi, has referred to the decision made by the Council of Ministers to prohibit municipalities from initiating any procurement procedures between June 1 and 30 as illegal and unconstitutional. Speaking to journalists, Ademi said this would be a good case to bring to the Constitutional Court, but given the absence of this institution, she appealed to the Prime Minister and the government to revoke the decision. First, the decision by the Council of Ministers is unlawful. Second, it comes without any warning. Only in a civil or economic emergency can such a decision be made, said Ademi. The Mayor of Shkodra stressed that the government's decision violates at least 4 laws and the European Charter on Local Self-Government. And above all, it blocks the work of the municipalities. It is an unconstitutional decision, contrary to the functional law of local government, contrary to the law on local finances, contrary to the law on the state budget, and contrary to the European Charter for Local Autonomy. Unfortunately, we have no constitutional court. I should be able to go to the Constitutional Court as they are the only authority to whom I can appeal this decision made by the Council of Ministers. I do not have this opportunity because this institution is non-functional. As such, I have decided to make this fact public and informed all the European Chancellery and institutions. After 24 hours, the Council of Ministers altered the decision by changing only 2 things, and the result has not made their decision any less unlawful. Rather than implementing the change immediately, as of Monday of this week, they decided June 1 would be the date when the work of all municipalities across Albania would be blocked. It is not the case of disrupting the mayors, but the development of cities and services for the citizens. Vlora, Elbasan, Durrës, Tirana, Shkodra, Berat, Fier would all be blocked from development. From the communication I've had with the mayors, there was a negative reaction, warned Ademi. It's hard. We will all be blocked in our everyday work, even for the services that are basic. This decision makes our lives very difficult. Now the decision comes into force on June 1. Again, we are faced with an unconstitutional situation. I have asked the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers to overturn this decision. In my opinion, it should never have existed, concluded Voltana Ademi. Ademi remains the only mayor who has so far publicly reacted to the decision by the Council of Ministers, which, after being published in the official notebook, will have its final draft developed and implemented. Kosovo needs international support to judge the crimes committed during the Serbian genocide 2 decades ago and to bring peace to the country. This message was shared today by the Speaker of the Kosovar Parliament, Kadri Veseli, while visiting the local forensic institute. Veseli said that now the country is seeking peace. The head of the Kosovar Assembly pledged that the samples and testimonies of war will not be buried, but will be exhibited at the Special Genocide Museum. He appealed to foreign allies to unequivocally vote in favour of his initiative to establish a tribunal to prosecute Serbia's crimes. According to Kosovar authorities, the War Crimes Tribunal will be separate from the Hague Special Court and will restore the missing justice. Earlier, Speaker Veseli stated that the trials for the Serbian genocide have so far resulted in a cumulative 190-year jail sentence for Albanian citizens. Meanwhile, Serbian aggressors have received less than 30 years in prison for 15,000 victims, 800,000 deported citizens, and non-recoverable damages which occurred throughout the country in the years 1998 and 1999. Unhappy with the results of the December protests, students have warned of another demonstration to take place on May 22 before the Ministry of Education. According to the students, the reasons for organising the protest relate to the Ministry of Education's lack of action in fulfilling their requests. They say their protests have not yet made an impact on the quality of universities. Although some of the students who are organising the May 22 rally have been seen beside the opposition in support of its cause, the students say this particular protest is completely apolitical. On Sunday, student councils will hold a meeting with students and professors to determine the list of requests to be submitted to the Ministry of Education. Elections were held at the University of Tirana today. Students from 6 faculties voted for the member who will represent them on the Board of Administration. There were 3 candidates for the position: sociologist Denada Toce, actor Florian Binaj, and Professor Lech Leshaj. Students hope that the candidate they choose will convey their voice and their demands. After the elections, the Minister of Education, Besa Shahini, will decide which of the candidates will represent the students on the Board of Administration for the University of Tirana. Earlier, as part of the University Pact, Shahini changed all the members of the board that had been elected by the Ministry of Education. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join us again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of RTV Ora, thank you and good night.